All right, welcome everyone to the first episode of the Irish Goodbye. Uh, you'll get to listen to the docile tones of myself and Jason Malcolm for the entire season. So lucky all of you. In fact, I think that I guess technically all of you are winners because we were the last two. So, um, but we're gonna get ourselves started off with a draft recap first. So Jason, what did you think about the draft? Just the general grades, the draft day projections, and Yahoo's amazing AI.
Yeah, well, I think this seems like the perfect use for AI, and yet again, we were shown how AI can just simply bungle things more than any actual human person could. Uh, I think there are some accurate pieces here, such as myself being placed directly at 500, which is how most of my seasons do tend to go. Um, but a little interesting seeing Bare Naked Hades way down, projected 10th out of 12 places. I think this is some Yahoo tomfoolery because, if I had to match up Ross's football brain versus the AI's football brain, I would pick Ross 10 out of 10 times. Also, I think that bottom of the barrel at fourth place projected is nonsense in the opposite direction. I don't think. I think if I were to take that 9 and 5 projected and flip that around to 5 and 9, I'd be more comfortable with that.
I still think that might be a little generous, but
Yeah. But overall, though, you got Pat with the draft day champions with his throwback 2022 team. Yahoo thinks he's going to have a great season, and I think there's the potential for maybe not 12 wins, but I do think it's more than a little bit generous. I don't think his team's bad, but I do think that's more than a little generous with the 12 and 2 projected final record.
well, I think that instead of talking about Yahoo's AI and how all of us think that it's incorrect until it gives us an A+. I think what we should do is provide some actual analysis, and so we'll go into our first segment here, in which we are going to look at each of the roster spots, the position groups on each team, and rank them. Who we think the best in the league is, and who we think probably needs to use an IR spot on that position this year. So starting off with quarterback, which is a little bit tough in this league because for the most part, everyone's pretty intelligent as far as not carrying multiple quarterbacks just because there's so many and there's no reason to, and it's just a wasted roster spot. But for me, when I look at this, I think that based off of the value, based off of he is actually carrying two quarterbacks, but he got a very decent backup quarterback in the very last round. I think that Clatankerous has to be the number one quarterback group in the league right now.
Yeah. I actually agree with that. I'm a big he drafted Hurts, correct?
Yeah.
Third round. I'm a big Hurts fan. I would have liked to have drafted Hurts, but I was compelled to draft Joe Burrow. But this isn't about me. I would say yes, best QB room. Hurts is going to be great. I hope that Hurts throws many short passes to Saquon Barkley. So I would agree. Best quarterback room, definitely the Dankers.
I think quarterbacks are probably our most boring one to discuss because there's just not a lot to talk about unless you just pick who has the best quarterback. So I think given that he was able to get Brock Purdy in the very last round, and has Hurts. I think that just puts him in a league above.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant again.
For the IR spot, though, by far, I think the worst quarterback room, and something that he's going to have to deal with all year. Now, possible that this one hits, but I just, when we're looking at this, we've got to be looking at floor. And I think JJ McCarthy by far has the lowest floor of any of the quarterback rooms in the league right now. Just not a proven commodity. I get why he went with him. I get that he wants the Justin Jefferson thing, and if he hits, he'll look brilliant. And it's not to say that he can't. I just think that when we're looking at what's most likely, I think JJ McCarthy being the worst quarterback of any that were drafted, including some of the backups that got drafted, is a pretty high probability.
I would, unfortunately, I have to agree. Just looking at that as, you don't really know. It's like an unproven, and you got to draft a quarterback sometime, but some of those other picks, a little bit earlier on, when you miss the kind of miss the quarterback run a little bit, and you're forced to make some choices, and other people had to do the same, and I think they chose better. Maybe it'll work out, but Yahoo thinks it's going to work out, but we've covered that. So,
But at the same time too, like I said, a lot of quarterbacks in the free agency. To take a swing on it with a relatively strong rest of his roster isn't a terrible idea by Pat. So this is probably the least aggressive I'm going to be placing somebody's position group in the IR spot.
Yeah, I agree. This one is not egregious.
So moving on to the running backs. For the top running backs, I went through. There were a couple of teams that could have fallen into this. But I think that kind of looking at it, weighing out everything, looking at the total strength of all the players in there, the depth that they have, I think Ray's "We're Not Worthy" by far is the top running back room in the league.
There's some player, I can't remember their name. I just feel like his running back room could have been a little bit better. It could have had a little bit more depth. The name is not coming to me, but there's this.
Given that CMC is not on either of our teams, he will definitely have a fantastic year this year, and will make us wish that we had drafted him / traded for him 1 year later.
I guess you just gotta hope. You got two. I would not say question marks. McCaffrey, I'm going to give him the label of question mark, even though all the feel good stories left and right. But as two individuals who have been burned before, the season is starting out better for We're Not Worthy, for sure, than it did for myself last year. But with you never really know what's going to happen. Same for Shane as well. You have it could be pretty durable. Could have some issues. I'm thinking that if I were We're Not Worthy, I really would have liked to have grabbed the backup, the number 2 in Miami. He must have just missed out on that one. Not exactly sure what happened there.
But I think, even with that being said, and I agree, there's not a lot of handcuff play here, but Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, Chuba Hubbard, David Montgomery, and Kyle Monangai. And Monangai is sort of his dart throw, but that one could end up working out well. But that's 4 running backs for arguably 2 spots that he needs. He's got a lot to work with there.
Yeah.
That brings us to our worst.
So I'm gonna say I'm going to push back a little bit
Ooh.
on that, and I'm going to give. And this is much like the namesake of this team, much like his drafting strategy. I'm gonna say Waving Cats is gonna have the best RB room, and I like Gibbs. Obviously, goes without saying. I think Taylor, who is very consistent, and one of, I mean, if he's on the field, he's top three, maybe. I mean, those two guys, different bye weeks. I think those two guys could be, huge. He has Bigsby in there, who knows what's going to happen with Etienne. And then, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a close one. I feel like I think the McCaffrey question mark is too much of a question for me.
I mean,
in terms of
I think
in terms of that, maybe my own personal feelings.
I was going to say, I think your personal bias against CMC is showing right now. But I did look at Ken's, because I think that 1-2 is an incredibly strong 1-2. And I think that the possibility that Bigsby is the guy, that Jaden Blue could be the guy, are there. But I think the reason why Ray's team, for me, gets it is there's just much more defined roles. You know who those guys are. You know what David Montgomery is going to be. I'm the lower end guys. Obviously, I think kind of the two top end guys. I think saying Jahmyr Gibbs and Jonathan Taylor versus CMC and Achane. I'm fine with anyone flipping the coin there, but
the depth is what pushes it over the edge for you.
The depth is what's what does it. All right, so moving on to our IR spot, the team that wishes they could just put their entire running back core on IR and not have to worry about it. Would definitely be, after getting the best, and actually, spoiler alert, there's going to be some more bests for this particular team. After getting the best quarterback room, Cletankerous is going to be by far. I mean, it's not really close.
Nope. I would say it's about maybe. If the rest of our teams were like at ground level with our talent, his is like a mile high away from ours.
Heavily investing in the confusing Denver backfield might not be a path to victory. Getting Garendo, I don't know. I mean, I get it. He needs something there, but Garendo's number 3 on the team now. Not to say that he couldn't jump up, and injuries happen, and quite frankly, in San Francisco, they seem to happen more often.
They do,
especially the running back position. But and then Austin Eckler is just, we know exactly who he is. I don't think he's not gonna take over the backfield. So even if he gets a little more work to start the season, it's not like he's not that guy anymore. Even when he was that guy, he really wasn't that guy. He was best when he was a part-time, role player. So
yep. As soon as he got the full workload, not entirely, but it faded pretty quickly.
Yeah. So I don't think we need to belabor that point any further, because I think most of the group would agree,
and I think he knows as well.
Yes. Which brings us to the wide receiver room. So for the top wide receiver room, again, there were a number of different options here that I really kind of heavily weighed and didn't want to just have one team continually popping up here. But again, it comes down to depth and kind of target share. I mean, like Cletankerous's wide receivers all are the top dogs. They're going to get, Calvin Ridley, I think, was a huge pick. A huge value pick, just because he's going to get peppered with targets. There's no one else to throw to there. And then, Malik Neighbors. Puka always makes me nervous, especially with Matthew Stafford. But still, I think Marvin Harrison is being slept on by a lot of people just because of how up and down last season was. And I think that he's going to come out and be phenomenal, and the guy that we thought he was going to be last year. And then for depth, he's got Stephon Diggs on the bench. So
that is quite. If you would have said that, 2 years ago, that would be incredible to say. Diggs is on my bench
Mm.
from the get go at the draft. I mean, I think the biggest one here, the two guys basically taking like a second year leap, which receiver, you see that happen a lot. You do a lot of learning, even when you're thrust into a position as the number one, even in your rookie season, and things often are up and down. But then year two, I think probably one of the positions that you maybe quarterback, but at receiver, getting a real grasp of the roots and the feel, the speed of the game. And I mean, Cletankerous has that and the depth.
Yep.
And proven guys. It's gonna be, and I mean, he invested early in the draft, underestimated the extraordinary horniness that exists for running backs in this league. So he was on the other side of the coin for the running backs, but he did manage to make out with a very strong receiving core.
Did you have any for best receiving core? Did you agree with that, or
I did?
You did.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I did.
So we'll move on to the IR receiving core, the team that just wishes wide receivers were not included in this league. And for me, that would have to be Chinese Waving Cats.
Agreed.
He doesn't have. I don't think he has a number one on his team. I mean, Xavier Worthy might be right now, but not in week 7.
No, and you don't know what the Chiefs are going to do.
Yeah, George Pickens
spread it around.
Is a number 2 and just going to kind of be the deep threat, I think, on that team. Xavier Legette is going to be the number 2 on that team. And that, I mean, as a person who invested in a wide receiver on that team, I still don't feel great about it. Yeah. So Jaden Higgins was the reach of all time, and maybe it makes him look brilliant, but let's be honest, this is Ken, so now I would bet against Jaden Higgins. Jordan Addison, number 2, but also suspended for 3 games. I mean, there's nothing to like about this wide receiver.
And also, number 2, also Hawkinson's on that team.
Right.
Rookie quarter, McCarthy.
He's a rookie. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback.
He's a rookie, yeah. So, I don't know. I agree with you. Unfortunately, sorry, Ken. Somewhere he's nodding his head listening to this.
All right, so that brings us to the tight end room. Again, tight ends just like quarterbacks, a little bit more difficult. Most people are only going to carry one, so this makes it a little more challenging. So the person I went with for the best on this one is Mad Dogs, my brother's team or my other team, according to who you talk to.
Your brother, in quotes.
But the big reason for this is not only do you get Brock Bowers, arguably the best tight end, and everyone really fairly, the expectations are high that he's going to finish probably top 2, if not top 1. But to be able to pick up Kyle Pitts that late, and I know everyone has their feelings about Kyle Pitts, but it's a good risk to take there, because if he's able to actually put his talent on the field and have it affect a football game, it could be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think for me, I was going with the it was a tough one for me. The Super Bowls, because looking at it and just seeing, I mean, Laporta and Kelsey together.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Kelsey's, who knows what you're going to get with him, but it's only a couple years removed from being like the top guy or like right at the top. And I just can't trust. Maybe Pitts was a good value pick at that range, but the downside is pretty low. I feel like his ceiling may be something, but his floor is low, and I feel like Kelsey's floor is higher. Pitts and those two guys, Laporta and Kelsey together, you could play them both in the same lineup together, and actually, you could look at that and say, I kind of get that.
Well, I think Curtis is going to have to do that. I think that's the thing. Well, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is Yeah,
It's going to have to work out.
Yeah. I think where he got both of those people diminishes the value of that room a little bit more because of what he had to give up in order to get.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm hesitant to give any props to my, what was once a more heated rivalry is cooled somewhat, but I think the fires are still burning there. But I got to give, I give him the edge here.
So we give the tight end room to Josh, just not clarifying last name.
Yeah, right. Josh
gets. And then for the worst tight end room, and this is, I have to say,
this one hurts.
This one's shocking to me.
Yeah, this one hurts.
This is, I don't think this has ever happened before. And it's, again, another by a mile type of thing. It's the Chinese waving cats.
Yeah, I concur. And this is painful to say. With such a history of prowess when it comes to building a tight end room, it really is. I mean, maybe he knows something we don't. But I mean, it's hard to look at this. It's hard to look at these. It's hard to look at Ken's tight ends. Is all I can say.
Well, and I mean, if these guys, I'm going to say just one of these guys is on his team at the end of the year, that's going to surprise me. It's going to surprise me. I just think that tight end is going to become this streaming thing, and he reached for both of them. So it's shocking.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I think that the reactions from the room when he used that pick on Kincaid,
and then again on Okonkwo.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that luckily we don't have to do kickers or defense, which is wonderful in this league. So what I'd like to go to next is who, based off of draft day, based off of what we're seeing right now, who are the two teams that we're going to see in the championship game? So our top two teams of the year right now as it stands. What do you got, Jade?
Top two for me is we said his name a couple times here, with the best quarterback room and the best wide receiver room. My first of the top two is Cletankerous. I feel like if he can ride out the the turbulence in the Mile High City, then I think he's got a real good shot to finish real strong in his inaugural season in the league. My number two is the Troll Tolls. They got some very positive marks from Yahoo, and third in the power rankings preseason. I mean, 60 points, basically nothing. But first in draft grade, which, as we know, I'm sure Brian is looking at that and saying that's extremely important, very accurate. And also a 12-2 projected record. I mean, his team looks good. I know he was apparently half asleep, the other half high last night when he was drafting. But I mean, it looks pretty strong and not a draft day champion type of strong, which I think is a little bit of a false alarm there. So Cletankerous and Troll Tolls are my top two in terms of strength of draft.
Well, so I'm going to agree with you on Cletankerous, and as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm wondering if both of us are picking Tank just because we don't have prior.
It's possible.
Prior rivalries with them, and old grudges and axes to grind.
That's possible.
I do think his team looks really good, and if there's anything that would have this league go away from running backs, it's looking at his team and realizing you can do it. It's a couple of weak spots on the team, but it you strengthen up in other places. So I'm going to disagree with you on the toll trolls. And I'm gonna go with the draft day champs. I think that there's a lot of stability in that. I know that some of his guys are circa 2022 or before, but I do think that there is a lot higher of a floor with those guys. And I think when you look at a season and getting to the end, flashy doesn't always do it. It's that steady production, those guys that week in and week out you can count on for 15 points. And I think a majority of his team is that. So I'm going with the draft day champ for the second of the top two. Now what I'd like to look at is I'd like to look at the physically unable to perform teams. So our bottom two teams in the league, as the draft day has passed us. So, what do you have
IR
for that?
All Stars, I might say. I have I guess in no particular order, Waving Cats and Bottom of the Barrel, aptly named. I'm pretty sure that Bottom of the Barrel was at least in part auto drafting. I believe that was what was going on, which is usually never a great strategy, especially in this league where the draft board does not go the way that Yahoo thinks it will. Maybe he did a really good job of ranking and all that stuff, but it doesn't really seem to be borne out by the evidence of his drafted team. And then unfortunately, Waving Cats for he for me, or I think for us both, got the IR spot for wide receivers and tight ends. Just looking at this team is I don't know. I mean, things could go a certain way, but we got some pretty low projections across the board in points, and you got some guys who are already missing time. You've got guys who are not great top options. You've got older guys. You've got younger. You've got unproven. Like it's a real sort of there are a couple big names, a few big names, and then there's a lot of could be good, and then there's a lot of I don't know about this. So, Waving Cats and Bottom of the Barrel for me.
So, I mean, all I can do is agree 100% and on all of the points. I just feel like both of them, I mean, I think Ken sometimes tries to be Ross, I think, and do these like contrarian picks. I don't know that he does it on purpose, but like he doesn't have the knowledge that Ross has. So
I don't know. I don't know if that's I mean, that may be true. I don't know what level of the amount of time that Ken might save by not having the same level of knowledge as Ross, but I think it would, goes without saying, preparation and deep reading and so on and so forth. I also like just sometimes reading the blurbs of players on the little blue, Yahoo Post-it note and drafting off that later on.
Do you like to scroll down an infinite amount of time and then look at one of those and pick the player?
Yeah. Do I like to scroll down until the NAs are more prevalent than anything else? No.
All right, so yes, I think we're both in agreement on who our physically unable to perform teams are going to be this year. And then finally, to wrap up this week, let's talk about our game of the week for week 1 and what we're looking forward to watching in this league.
I mean, for me, my game to watch is going to be Cardinals versus, let me make sure I get this right, fat guy in a little end zone, quality team name. So I'm going to say, Shane versus Chuck, and Yahoo favors Chuck by about 2 points, because Chuck is a traitor who cannot be trusted, and I don't trust in his team. I am going to pick Cardinals over fat guy in a little end zone for week 1.
All right. Yeah. For me, it's the battle of Babst. I'm excited about the Ross versus Pat, the draft day champion three-peat versus the bare naked Hades. I feel like it's one of these games. I mean, and Pat's projected to win 131 to 117, and it's one of these early season matches against Ross that Yahoo does not respect the players that he picked. He has shown us time and time again that he does the work, that he knows what he's doing. And even when you look at the team, I don't see a gap like that. And so I think Pat's probably going in cautiously optimistic because he's been burned by this before. But I honestly think that Ross's team is gonna wipe the floor with his team.
Well, I guess we will see what happens over the course of this week. The season finally kicks off after seems like a longer and longer wait every year. But here we are. We made it.
And with most of the people still in the league, so
that is true. That is true. That is true. I'm not sure exactly how long I've been in the league, but it's I think I've only seen a handful of people come and go. It's just remarkably consistent.
All right, well, we'll see what happens, and then we'll report back to the league in our next pod.
Indeed, we will. So that is this is the IR-ish. Goodbye. Signing off for our week 1 bonus introductory episode.
It sounds like you're having a stroke.
Well, it's exactly how my team is planning on playing this year.
All right, we'll see you guys at the next episode.
All right, good luck out there.